with violent crime in Detroit 5 times higher than the national average. Dealing drugs in the city is unlikely to end in a happy retirement.
The city is they're finding bodies chopped up and everything and everywhere. So in the event of my demise, there would be a lot of AK shells around.
Not only does this Detroit dealer need to fight off rivals, he also has to watch out for people trying to rip him off.
It's dangerous because you got people watching. The stick-up man is everywhere. He will put on a suit and stand next to you in the club, buy you a drink. As long as you got on $60,000 worth of jewelry. He beat your mom in the face to make you tell where that safe at.
Although Leggy is profiting from Detroit's fall, in the last decade alone, 25% of the city's population left. In their wake, tens of thousands of abandoned homes remain, and enough vacant land to fit the entire city of San Francisco. The abundance of these homes provides free housing for many of Detroit's drug users.
I've always been a heroin user. I just dabble in smoking crack once in a while. Living in an abandoned house can be pretty scary sometimes because, you know, there's a lot of people that want to take advantage of you, you know, as in rob you or rape you or just torment you, you know. There's a lot rougher places in Detroit to live, but there's been a lot of incidences around here. There was a guy that was shot right here in front of me, actually. The guy shot him over something stupid. I'm not sure what. It's not the ideal place you'd want to raise your kids. Let's just say that, you know.
Jackie is originally from Detroit's suburbs, where drugs are commonly used but hard to buy. When she lost her house and car, she moved to the city to be closer to the dealers. Jackie shares her house with her partner, Paul, who's just bought their morning fix.
What'd you get?
Got both.
You got both?
Yeah.
You got a little bit of blowing, you got some...
Crack cocaine.
Some crack cocaine. You're gonna smoke some crack, honey?
Detroit's dealers have made crack and heroin affordable for the city's poorest residents, selling small amounts of each drug at low prices.
They changed it to $7 instead of $10.
$7 for this? There's nothing here.
Crack may be cheap, but the quality has gone down.
Look at that. Nothing. It ain't no good. In the mid-'80s, I smoked every day. When it first came out, it was really strong. It's not now. You used to get 4 times as much for the money, whereas today you don't.
10 years ago, a dime rock. Today, a dime rock. Crack has gotten more expensive than it used to be. At one time, crack was an easy drug to get a hold of. The price for good quality was wonderful. Everyone made a lot of money. 10 years ago, you could buy a 36-ounce bird of cocaine, $20,000. That same 36-ounce bird of cocaine today is $48,000. That's the difference. Because the price is so high, you have to do one of 2 things. You have to either put more of a cut on it so that you can get more product back after you cook it, or you have to sell a smaller version for the same price that you sold before.
Crack users are getting a lower quality product at a higher price. Many have turned away from the drug, and street dealers are having a hard time making a good living.
As a street dealer, the misconceptions that are out there is just mind-boggling. A good week for me, I may pocket $800 to $1,000 comfortable. A bad week, I may pocket $50. Surviving is the only thing that comes from selling drugs. I don't see a benefit in it anymore. Only thing that it does for me is allow me to eat and maintain my life, which is a meager lifestyle, for today and tomorrow. It doesn't do anything else.
Detroit's street dealers are suffering financially, but the personal risk they face remains the same.
There's only 2 ways out of selling drugs: going to jail or getting killed. There's no, I'm only gonna sell X amount and then I'm gonna retire or do, that never works out. Never. I haven't met a retired drug dealer yet. Haven't met that person.
And another concern for John is Detroit's overstretched police department. With the city struggling to balance a $197 million budget deficit, Detroit's police have recently had their pay cut by 10% and are working longer shifts. Increased street crime deters customers and hurts business. So John and other dealers in his neighborhood had to step in.
In the city of Detroit, if you called the police to come to something, if you are not in a what they consider rich neighborhood, the police will take anywhere from 45 minutes to 2 days to come see you. That's not police. That's not help. The police do not police our neighborhood. We police our own neighborhood. We stop the crime in our neighborhood. We stop the robberies. We stop the break-ins. We stop the rapes. We stop the molestation. As funny as it sounds, although we sell drugs, in our neighborhood, we are the police.
Echo 83878. I'm 4 number 1.
Detroit's PD had $75 million cut from their budget, so federal law enforcement agencies, such as U.S. Border Patrol, provide important support in the fight against drugs.
The Border Patrol's role in preventing drugs from entering the United States is that we're America's front line. We're the first line of defense from drugs coming into the United States.
Detroit is not like any other major U.S. city. It sits on the border with Canada, one of the world's largest producers of MDMA and a major supplier of marijuana to the U.S. market. The Detroit River separates the two countries.
The Border Patrol here in Detroit is very unique because our agents patrolled in a very urban environment. The city lies right on the border. This border runs right down through the heart of a major metropolitan area. You have abandoned buildings, abandoned warehouses, abandoned properties. It is kind of a haven for the drug smugglers in the Detroit area to utilize these areas where it's desolate.
This one's bad.
This house is near the border itself, and so we've been seeing a lot of drug use in here. Not quite sure if we're getting drugs that are coming in here from Canada. And this one is in probably one of the worst shapes that I've seen.
No sign of criminal activity. Mark continues his patrol.
Any shoes? Nightfall certainly affords the opportunity, the cloak of darkness. It tends to get busier. The first thing we see is an increase in the smuggling on the waterways. We get down to this park, we'll be looking at cars that don't belong, individuals that don't belong. Are they waiting for smuggling to occur? Are they here to buy drugs? Are they here using drugs? Something's up. Like this car sitting here, he's not sitting at the anywhere where you can see the water, just kind of backed in. Just a real odd place to be. And to be out at Maharis Park with a Grand Am occupied twice. Any drugs or anything in the car tonight? No? Ma'am, do you have a driver's license I can take a look at?
Yeah, I do.
Mark smells something coming from inside the car.
Yeah, this is going to be some 21. How much marijuana you guys got in the car? Right.
He calls for backup. The couple could be involved in smuggling marijuana.
See if you can get an outside alert first on it.
U.S. Border Patrol agents regularly search Detroit city parks near the border with Canada, as they're often used by drug smugglers.
As soon as I walk up, I can smell the marijuana.
Okay, but
that gives me my probable cause. Now you're not free to go. In fact, do you have the vehicle keys?
The driver seems unwilling to cooperate.
Step out of the car, ma'am. I'm not going to go round and round with this. Put your hands against the car. Put your hands against the car.
As a precaution, Mark handcuffs the couple before he brings out the canine.
With something like this, you don't know if it's just local drug use or is it a vehicle waiting to make a contact for a drug deal, a purchase? Are they users or are they waiting for some other illicit activity? Are they waiting for a drug load to come across? Yeah, it's weed for sure. We found a small amount of personal use marijuana inside the vehicle where they clearly had just been smoking. There's residue all over. So there's been a lot of marijuana smoked inside the vehicle.
Rather than arrest the woman, Mark just gives her a ticket.
The simple possession of a controlled substance under Title 21, the maximum fine is $5,000. The minimum fine is $1,000. And judges here usually order them into drug testing. Marijuana is a very large problem and a very deadly problem. If the individuals that smoke the marijuana in the states realize the amount of people that die for them to get that drug, I think maybe they would think twice before they start smoking it.
Although violent crime associated with drug dealing fell 10% in Detroit last year, it's still 5 times the national average. Dealers like Leggy protect their business using violence and murder.
I run my retail operation down the throats of any would-be competition. This is how I run my retail. I bulldog you, period. Because I blow your house up. I make you move. I kidnap somebody. I have, in this city, maybe 10 blocks to my control. At this point, probably 4 of those blocks is gonna be blood spill because they don't believe me as much as the other 6. La Matanza is what you call it, and that's bloodshed, and every now and then you have to have that. Because that's what's coming to you if you play with this. Any one of these 3. I don't have no weed here because I'm sold out.
For Leggy, ordering the drugs he needs to supply his Detroit retail operation isn't a problem.
Anything I need shipped from anywhere is nothing but a phone call. My biggest concern in this city is the Border Patrol, because that's where it comes in, and that's their focus on stopping it from coming in, and they jack our shipments.
Border Patrol agent Mark Hall is doing everything he can to stop those illegal shipments.
It's a Saturday night here in Detroit, and we have a lot of people out enjoying the weather and the water. So we see a real marked increase in activity. The potential for smuggling is greatly increased when it's busy like this because they intermix with the legitimate boat traffic.
Can you run a temporary tag for me?
It isn't long before Mark and his colleague Agent Kenyon spot a suspect vehicle in an abandoned park on the river.
1971 Derek convertible. 10-4.
When Mark approaches the vehicle, he immediately sees marijuana in plain view.
Hey, partner, come here for a minute. Go ahead and put your hands against the car, okay? As I walk up, I see marijuana sitting in the vehicle.
Oh, that marijuana is not mine. I don't even smoke weed.
Well, it's your vehicle, right?
My friend's got it. He's got his medical card for that.
Hey, why don't you come here for a minute?
Michigan state law allows citizens to use marijuana legally if they are registered.
Where's your card at?
It's at home. I have nothing on me. I need my ID.
Is it just that little bit of marijuana in the center console?
Yeah.
All right.
Without a medical marijuana card and with a suspicious vehicle, Mark gets expert canine handler Agent Kenyon to search the car. It isn't long before the dog indicates that there are more drugs.
I think we got some coke. Good dog, get it. Immediately he went to the glove box and was alert and indicating. I popped the glove box open. Yep, there you go. See this? Multiple bags. It appears to be cocaine. If it's pure coke and it's going for $80, $90 a gram, it's a decent amount. Probably 5-6 grams.
There's a white powder in there. It's not marijuana. You guys want to talk to me at all about that?
With multiple bags of cocaine and all 3 suspects denying possession, Mark needs to work out who the drugs belong to before he can make an arrest.
Before I ask you any questions, you have to understand your rights. You have the right to remain silent.
U.S. Border Patrol agent Mark Hall decides to arrest 2 of the suspects for possession of cocaine. As he's doing this, one of the suspects accidentally gives up his buddy.
So it is, huh?
I don't know who it is. Not mine.
The passenger spontaneously, in Spanish, told the driver, hey, that's yours, not knowing that I was able to speak Spanish. He's not admitting anything, so I'm going to place the individual in the black shirt under arrest. Timur, I'm going to place you under arrest for possession of controlled substance. The patrol turned out to be a successful one. We're on the border, and we have to investigate something that's suspicious, and we don't